Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of our English Listening Practice podcast, brought to you by English Edge. I'm so glad you're here. This podcast is designed to help you improve your English listening skills in a calm and natural way. Whether you're studying for an exam, preparing for travel, or just want to understand native speakers better, this is the place for you. In today's episode, we'll explore 5 different listening segments. Each one is followed by vocabulary explanations, simple questions, and tips to help you become a better listener. At the end, we'll do a guided repetition exercise to help you practice pronunciation and rhythm. So sit back, relax, and let's begin your journey to better English listening. Let's start with a simple everyday conversation. Imagine you're at a grocery store. Listen carefully. I walk into the store and grab a shopping cart. I need a few things for dinner tonight. First, I head to the produce section. I pick up some tomatoes, a bunch of spinach, and a couple of onions. Next, I go to the dairy aisle. I grab a carton of milk and a block of cheddar cheese. I also need some eggs, so I pick up a dozen. Finally, I stop by the bakery. I choose a loaf of whole wheat bread and a small chocolate cake for dessert. At the checkout, the cashier smiles and says, "Did you find everything you were looking for?" I nod and reply, "Yes, thank you." Let's look at some vocabulary from this segment. Produce section means the part of the store where fruits and vegetables are sold. Carton is a container for liquids, like milk or juice. Aisle is a passage between shelves in a store. Checkout is the place where you pay for your items. Now, let's answer a few questions. What vegetables did the speaker buy? The speaker bought tomatoes, spinach, and onions. These are common vegetables used in cooking, and they were picked up from the produce section of the store. What did they get from the dairy aisle? From the dairy aisle, the speaker picked up a carton of milk, a block of cheddar cheese, and a dozen eggs. These items are typical dairy products and are often used in breakfast or dinner recipes. What dessert did they choose? The speaker chose a small chocolate cake from the bakery section. This was likely a treat to enjoy after dinner, showing how people often include something sweet in their shopping. What did the cashier say? The cashier asked, "Did you find everything you were looking for?" This is a common question at checkout, meant to ensure the customer had a good shopping experience and found all the items they needed. Here's a tip for listening. When listening to everyday situations, focus on nouns and verbs. These carry the main meaning of the sentence. Now let's listen to a short story. Try to picture the events in your mind. It was a cold morning and James was running late. He had a train to catch at 8:15, but his alarm hadn't gone off. He quickly got dressed, grabbed his bag, and rushed out the door. The streets were wet from the rain and traffic was heavy. James ran to the station, hoping he could still make it. When he arrived, he saw the train pulling away from the platform. He sighed and sat down on a bench. He would have to wait for the next train, which wouldn't arrive for another hour. Instead of getting upset, James took out his book and started reading. Sometimes missing a train gives you time to slow down. Let's look at some vocabulary from this story. Platform is the area where passengers wait for the train. Sighed means letting out a breath to show sadness or frustration. Rush means to move quickly because you're in a hurry. Now, let's answer a few questions. Why was James late? James was late because his alarm didn't go off in the morning. This caused him to wake up later than planned, leaving him with very little time to get ready and reach the train station before his train departed. What was the weather like? The weather was rainy and the streets were wet. This detail adds to the urgency and difficulty of James's morning, as running through wet streets and dealing with heavy traffic made it harder for him to reach the station on time. What did James do after missing the train? After missing the train, James sat down on a bench at the station and began reading a book. Instead of getting angry or frustrated, he chose to use the extra time in a calm and productive way, showing a positive attitude toward unexpected delays. What lesson can we learn from this story? The story teaches us that sometimes missing a train or facing any delay can be an opportunity to slow down and reflect. Instead of reacting negatively, we can choose to make the most of the moment just like James did by reading his book and staying calm. Here's a tip for listening. In stories, listen for emotions. Words like sigh, frustrated, or relieved help you understand how the speaker feels. Let's talk about how you can improve your English listening skills. Listening is one of the most important skills in language learning. It helps you understand native speakers, follow conversations, and respond appropriately. Here are 5 tips to improve your listening. Tip 1. Listen every day. Make English listening a daily habit. You can watch English videos on YouTube, listen to podcasts while commuting, or play English music during your free time. Regular exposure helps your brain get used to the sounds and patterns of the language. Tip 2. Use subtitles wisely. Start with subtitles if you need help understanding spoken English. They can support your comprehension. But as you improve, try turning them off to challenge your listening skills and train your ears to rely on sound alone. Tip 3. Repeat and shadow. Listen to a sentence, then repeat it out loud. Try to match the speaker's rhythm, pronunciation, and intonation. This technique, called shadowing, helps you improve both listening and speaking fluency by mimicking native speakers. Tip 4. Focus on keywords. You don't need to understand every word. Instead, focus on the main ideas and important vocabulary. Keywords like nouns and verbs often carry the core meaning of a sentence and help you follow the conversation. Tip 5. Be patient. Listening takes time and practice. It's normal to feel frustrated when you don't understand everything. But with consistent effort, your skills will improve. Patience helps you stay motivated and reduces stress during learning. Remember, the more you listen, the more you learn. Let's look at some vocabulary from this segment. Habit. A regular practice or routine often done automatically. For example, brushing your teeth every morning is a habit. Subtitles. Text displayed on screen that shows what is being said in a video. Subtitles help you understand spoken language, especially when the accent or speed is difficult. Shadowing. A learning technique where you repeat what you hear immediately after the speaker. It helps improve pronunciation, fluency, and listening accuracy. Now, let's answer a few questions. What are 2 ways to listen to English every day? You can listen to English podcasts and watch English videos. These activities expose you to natural speech, different accents, and real-life vocabulary, helping you become more comfortable with the language. What does shadowing mean? Shadowing means repeating what you hear immediately after the speaker says it. This technique helps you improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency by mimicking how native speakers talk. Why is patience important in listening practice? Patience is important because listening skills develop gradually. You may not understand everything at first, but with regular practice, your comprehension will improve. Being patient helps you stay motivated and prevents discouragement. Here's a tip for listening. When listening to advice or instructions, pay attention to lists and steps. These help you organize the information and understand the structure of what's being said. Now let's listen to a personal monologue. This is a great way to hear natural speech. Hi, my name is Emma, and I'd like to tell you about a typical day in my life. I wake up around 7 a.m. and start my day with a cup of coffee. I check my emails and plan my schedule. At 9 a.m., I begin work. I'm a graphic designer, so I spend most of my time creating designs on my computer. Around noon, I take a break for lunch. I usually make a sandwich or order something online. After lunch, I continue working until about 5 p.m. In the evening, I like to relax. Sometimes I read a book, watch a movie, or go for a walk. Before bed, I write in my journal and reflect on the day. That's a typical day for me. Thanks for listening. Let's look at some vocabulary from this monologue. Schedule. A plan that shows what you will do and when you will do it. For example, a daily schedule might include work, meals, and exercise. Graphic designer. A person who creates visual content such as logos, advertisements, websites, or digital art. It's a creative profession that involves using design software. Reflect. To think carefully about your experiences or actions. Reflecting helps you learn from your day and understand your feelings or decisions. Now, let's answer a few questions. What time does Emma start her day? Emma starts her day at around 7 a.m. She begins with a cup of coffee and checks her emails before starting work. What does she do for work? Emma is a graphic designer. She spends most of her day creating visual designs on her computer, which is a creative and digital profession. What are some things she does to relax? To relax, Emma reads books, watches movies, goes for walks, and writes in her journal. These activities help her unwind and reflect on her day. Here's a tip for listening. In monologues, listen for transitions like first, then, after that, and finally. These words help you follow the speaker's routine and understand the sequence of events. Now it's time to practice. I'll say a sentence and you repeat after me. I went to the grocery store to buy some vegetables. He missed the train but stayed calm. Listening every day helps you improve. She works as a graphic designer. I like to relax by reading a book. Let's try a few longer sentences. Even if you don't understand every word, you can still follow the conversation. Shadowing is a great way to improve your pronunciation and fluency. A typical day includes work, rest, and reflection. Listening is the foundation of good communication. The more you listen, the more confident you become. Great job! Repeating sentences helps you train your ear and improve your speaking skills. It also helps you internalize sentence structure and natural rhythm. Thank you for joining me on this English listening practice podcast from English Edge. Let's review what we learned today. We listened to a conversation at the grocery store and learned vocabulary like produce section, carton, and checkout. We heard a short story about missing a train and explored words like platform, sigh, and rush. We learned 5 practical tips to improve listening skills, including daily practice, shadowing, and focusing on keywords. We listened to a personal monologue about daily life and discovered words like schedule, graphic designer, and reflect. And finally, we practiced repeating sentences to improve pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. Remember, listening is not just about hearing words. It's about understanding meaning, emotion, and context. The more you listen, the more naturally English will come to you. Thanks again for being here. This is English Edge, helping you grow your skills one word at a time.